We will start with last night's Jay Johnson show. Chris Blair and Jay Johnson sitting down at TJ Ribs, taking some phone calls and cutting up for an hour talking LSU baseball. He covered a number of topics yesterday that I want to get to, but the first one is probably the most important one that's on everybody's mind. Chris led with it, and Jay Johnson spoke to it. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but we'll add some more color to it here on his star third baseman, Jacob Berry.
He's not going to play tomorrow night. I can tell you that. I think what we've kind of pinned it down to is he has a hairline fracture in one of his fingers, and that it's going to basically be a pain tolerance thing. He still has flexion in it. He can still do some things. He can swing right-handed, those types of things. But we have to be very careful. We don't want it to, get hit again. So he has to put a pin in it. That would obviously affect what he's doing in the future. So we have to be careful in that regard. But this is a tough kid we're talking about, and there's nobody that wants to be on the field more than him. And I'm very confident you'll see him back on the field. I don't know if that's, Friday or Saturday or Sunday or next Tuesday or anything like that, but I'm very confident we'll see him back on the field helping us win games before the year's over.
All right. So a few things there. I have made a couple phone calls and done a little bit of digging on this, and what I have gathered is not anything different from what Jay Johnson has said publicly in the media. This was a ground ball. It hit his finger. There's a small hairline fracture in it, and it hurts. He can move it. It's not going to stop him in day to day. He's not going to lose any sleep. There's no rehab. It just hurts. And the question is, how bad is it going to hurt? And so I've never tried to swing a bat with a broken hand, and that is what we're going to have to monitor with Jacob Berry moving forward. How much can he deal with, and how quickly can it get a little bit better? The second part of this deal, and this is something that's not super comfortable for fans of college programs to deal with in any sport, but it is an absolute reality, and it is a big deal in every program at this level. The draft's in 2 months. If you send him out there and something happens and there's any sort of negligence that can be argued, you have done a super disservice and costs one guy a lot of money and may cost yourself players. Now, this is not a pitcher with a torn labrum you're sending out there to wreck his entire life. He's got a hairline fracture in his finger. I'm not trying to equate the two things, but it's a real thing. You've played in locker rooms with guys who are going to make a lot of money. You yourself were a high NFL draft pick. We know about basketball, the same type deal. There's a lot of money waiting out there. And the same thing goes on the baseball diamond. Jacob Berry is a potential top 10 pick. Putting him in peril 2 months before the draft is not something that a coach can make a big habit out of.
No, I mean, I think it's a tough situation, obviously, because what's at stake for the season, and just the season he's having right now. It's a shame that it's kind of being put to a halt right now. But I think for everybody, especially for Jacob, if you're in a situation where it's not painful and you feel like it's something that you can play through, I think he's going to go out there and play. I don't think he's that type of guy to put the cleats up and finish the season and just kind of look forward to the draft. I think he really wants to go out there and really play and continue playing at a high level. It's just, very unfortunate that in the situation where, it's a pain tolerance still, and we know how tricky those things can be. But I think we'll see him again before the season's up.
So do I. Not tonight. Maybe this weekend. There are some stories in LSU baseball lore that this harkens back to. None of them are super similar. I mean, obviously Warren Morris broke his hamate bone and missed basically the whole season. Then he came back and hits the home run in '96 to win the College World Series. We all know about that. A lot of people probably don't remember because he's not a huge name from that team. But in 2000, Cedric Harris had a broken finger as well. He was a center fielder for that team that had Brad Cressy and Mike Fontenot and Ryan Theriot, Blair Barbier, Brad Hall, that whole crew. And he played in the College World Series with a broken finger. If you can go back and look at the highlights, he grabs the bat and he just extended his index finger and didn't wrap it around the bat. Now, Cedric Harris was a line drive slap hitter who'd at the bottom of the order. Jacob Berry is the biggest power bat you got on this team. Maybe sans Dylan Cruz, you could have the argument which other way. It's not exactly the same thing. So this is not ideal. I, was pretty down about it yesterday and still don't feel very good about it. But hopefully, I would sit him this weekend. I'd be really honest with you. In terms of what's at stake, yeah, every game is huge to try to get to host a regional. But you're going to play in the NCAA tournament, and those are the games that are going to matter the most. I want them at the box, but I'd rather play a regional on the road with Jacob Berry than at home without him. And I don't think you're in serious danger of losing him, but I just think any kind of rest you can give him helps. And maybe this is a weekend you give him off. If memory serves, they may not play a midweek game next week. I probably should do a little bit of prep on that before I come out there. But let me look and see, because generally speaking, it's finals week before you play the next conference. No, they do play. They play Northwestern next weekend, next Tuesday. So LSU doesn't have an open week for finals like they generally have in the past. So, we'll see. I think my gut tells me they're going to play him at some point this weekend, because that's just what generally happens when guys say, all right, put me out there. They go, whether he's 100%, which he won't be, or not. I think he'll probably give it a shot this weekend.
Yeah, I think at the bare minimum, I think especially if you're seeing a left-handed pitcher, you'll see him, definitely be in the lineup from the right-handed side, because from everything we've heard, it seems like that's not that big of a deal for him. So it sucks because he does his most damage from the left-handed side, but I think he wants to play, man. He's very, very competitive, and you saw the look on his face when he had to sit out last weekend. It's just, he doesn't want to be there. So I think if he can get to a point where he can get through the pain and really get out there and help the team, I think he will. Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.